Here is your obligatory, I am going into day one, here's my loadout type video. So, I am a support hunter. My main job is to provide debuffs with my tether as well as do ad clear with strand potentially if it's not disabled. For my kinetic slot in the special category, we're going to have the Wither Horde, Izanagi's Burden, Succession, and Arbalest. Arbalest for the potential of anti-barrier champions. Wither Horde because it's Wither Horde, you can't really go wrong with it. Its overall tick damage is incredibly high, and the ad clear potential is also incredibly high as well. You've got Izanagi's Burden for those heavy DPS phases. I will be pairing that with an auto-loading explosive light rocket. Yes, I know Palmyra is bad. I'm working on getting a Hothead as we speak. Hothead explosive light auto-loading is the best rocket you can get, as well as having impact casing attached to it. If you get that, you're basically doing the best damage you can do with Izanagi Rocket. As far as primary weapons are concerned, I'm bringing the Final Warning, which is a very controversial decision. You could probably swap this out for Quicksilver Storm or the Neomuna SMG. That is all because of Tangles from Strand, the seasonal mod that allows you to get increased explosion radius and damage with Tangles, as well as being able to suspend enemies with those Tangles is incredibly powerful for ad clear. You get so much ad clear potential from these two seasonal mods that being able to play into it by generating more Tangles is incredibly powerful. So that is why I'm bringing in one Strand primary weapon. Now, the king of the crop of these is Lumina. I'm picking Lumina because the buff stacks with Well is a 35% increase to damage, so it'll be better than Well for damage increases. We pop the Lumina on all my teammates, we go in on heavy damage, and it's just a good time. So Lumina is good support for the people doing DPS. Moving into my energy slot, it's really bare because most of my kinetic slots are specials. I basically have all primaries for my energy. I brought one of each elemental subtype of the SMGs that we have. Feeding Frenzy Volt Shot for my Ikelos, Threat Detector Incandescent for my Callus mini tool, and Killing Wind Frenzy for my Funnel Web. I'd much rather have Subsistence Frenzy, but I don't have it, so there you go. I will also be bringing in my Forbearance on the off chance that I do end up using the Strand primaries to create Tangles for that extra ad clear. Moving on to heavies, we have the Palmyra, aka the Hothead, which I'm trying to get with auto-loading explosive light impact casing. You do a lot of damage with it. I hope to get a DPS video to show you guys just how much it does, but it fucks. So having an Izanagi Hothead swap combo is incredibly potent for damage and will basically outclass every damage method in the game. Next up, I will have Eager Edge on the off chance that we have a jumping puzzle like King's Fall, where I can Eager Edge skate with Stasis, or I can use Strand to the best of my ability. That's what Lumina is also there for. Lumina skating with Strand, well, more like Lumina grappling, is incredibly powerful for those jumping puzzles. Saves a lot of time. Controversial choice, I'll be bringing in Cataclysmic, and if Cataclysmic isn't enough, I will bring in Sleeper Simulant. The reason because ammo economy is everything in a day one raid. You don't have one rocket on final stand, you will wipe. You will just wipe. So having a very efficient weapon with your ammo economy is incredibly good. The damage Cataclysmic can pump out is already very high tier, even with the nerf it received when this DLC came out, and the ammo economy is incredibly good. So for those long DPS phases where I know I need ammo above everything else, Cataclysmic. And being my debuff class and my buff class, I'm going to be running both Tractor Cannon and Gallarhorn for the damage increases that they will provide to the rest of my team. Basically, everyone on my team is running Izanagi Rockets on the off chance that it's a crit/explosion based boss. So we're going to be running Gallarhorn for that. And either or, if I'm not using my tether for whatever reason, I'll be running Tractor Cannon. Because the more I can provide my team for damage, the better we will do overall. Now, for what classes and armor I am running, I'm basically only running 2 exotics. Potentially 3. I will be running Orpheus Rig for the extra tethers that I will receive with Mobius Quiver. If you space out your tethers properly, you can get anywhere from 15, 20, 25 seconds of tether debuff, which is incredibly important because debuff times are everything. Next, we will have Frosties for those middle-of-the-road encounters, things like totems and stuff. Being able to use my abilities more, especially with Strand, is incredibly powerful, and that will be incredibly good. On the off chance that I do need to pump out some more damage, whether it be with Strand Super if that's not fixed, or Golden Gun, I will have Star Eater Scales just for that extra damage if we absolutely need it. This will most likely be paired with Tractor Cannon, as I can pop a Tractor Cannon, pop my 3 Golden Gun, and then I can go into succession damage. Next up, and probably the only 2 that I will actively be wearing other than Orpheus Rig for general stuff, Assassin's Cowl. Assassin's Cowl with Combination Blow is the best ad clear potential you can get. You get insane survivability, insane ad clear, and you have the potential to actually damage majors, which is incredibly good because there's probably going to be a lot of those. Assassin's Cowl is the #1 survivability exotic. It makes you invisible basically all the time. You never need to do anything with it. And this is the new exotic, the, however you say it, Facade. And this one is extremely powerful, mainly because of Woven Mail. Woven Mail plus tier 10 Resilience, I don't have it on. With tier 10 Resilience, you get basically around the range of 70 to 80% damage reduction for 10 whole seconds. And you can extend that duration by having the fragment that gives you Woven Mail when you pick up an Orb of Power. Thread of Warding. Picking up an Orb of Power grants Woven Mail. Pairing this fragment with Woven Mail, you have incredibly high Woven Mail uptime. Basically, if you can get the orbs to be generated, you will have it all the time, which means you just won't die unless something big enough hits you. So it's incredibly good for those encounters like totems, where it's mostly ad clear and surviving is the biggest thing. Now, as for what I will be using for my Void subclass, which is what I'm going to be using for the majority of the raid, I'm going to be running Echo of Obscurity for finishers granting an invisibility. The less time things are shooting at me, the better. I will have Echo of Persistence to increase that invisibility for myself. Then I'll be running Echo of Domineering, mainly for the discipline increase, but also just on the off chance that there are tormentors that I can actually suppress them with suppression nades. And then lastly, I'll be running Echo of Starvation for Devour, because Devour. You make Orbs of Power basically for your entire build now, and that means more Devour uptime for me as well. For the most part, I'm only going to be using Mobius Quiver. That's it. I'll use Deadfall if I absolutely need to, if I need the extra range for it, but honestly, Quiver is going to be where it's at for the majority of the raid. Basically, that's what I'm bringing into day 1. Feel free to roast whatever I bring in the comments. Tell me if I forgot anything, because there might as well be one. That's the obligatory loadout video. Like, subscribe, go watch my other stuff, and goodbye.